What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back, and from the comeback, Brittany Griner teammate calls out hypocrisy. Well, that's interesting. Why wouldn't they use her name? Is it because nobody watches the WNBA and literally nobody would have any idea who you're talking about? So you throw Brittany Griner's name in the title to get people to click it? That's why I did. Actually, that's not why I did. I thought she had a point to make about hypocrisy. I was wrong, and we'll see that shortly. And Brittany Griner, for the record, is only famous for not being able to dunk and getting trapped in Russia. And she, of course, is experiencing far more fame and notoriety post-Russian prison stint. She should actually be thanking her lucky stars for that, but that's not what this is about. They say, Brianna Turner, a teammate of WNBA superstar Brittany Griner for the Phoenix Mercury, has made her stance very clear in the debate about whether or not transgender female athletes should be allowed to compete in women's sports. Well, we're already way off base here because even if you want to use the establishment hack shill language, you are a transgender woman, not a female, right? They're the ones always telling us to follow the science. So you're a male or you're a female. You're not a transgender female. That's not how this works, even by their standards. So this publication is already going to bat big time for the weirdo establishment euphemistic language. This week, Brianna Turner wrote an opinion piece for the Houston Chronicle, declaring that while women's sports face many threats, trans athletes are not one of them. Well, she's wrong on both accounts because you're not facing any threats. And if you were, it is definitely from men invading your sports, right? I mean, who are we kidding? How many transgender males, as this publication wants to put it, do you see hopping over into the WNBA? It wouldn't work because it's all made up. As a black woman athlete, I faced many challenges to equality in sports. Is that right? That's how you made it to the most notable women's sports league out there? You made it. You won. You got to the top. So why are you still so angry? Turner wrote for the Houston Chronicle. But the participation of transgender women and girls in women's sports is not one of those challenges. I cannot understand why lawmakers in my home state of Texas have been targeting trans athletes in grade school and now at the college level who just want to play the sport they love with their friends. Yeah, is that it? It's not like not every time, but they are more likely to jump from rank, 400 in the men's category to 1 or 2 in the women's. But they just want to play the sport with their friend. You are asking for your own demise. You want LeBronica, you want Joanna Man, I guess, to show up in the WNBA and start dunking on you? Okay, good luck. Be careful what you wish for, lady. Turner went on to explain some of those challenges to equality, revealing that the 2021 NCAA tournament, female athletes were treated much differently than their male counterparts. Yeah, I bet they were, because they're not bringing in the same revenue. The men had access to a massive gym with fancy equipment while the women had free weights and yoga mats. The women received less food and a lower quality and variety than the men. And the men even received outside sponsors for catering that were not extended to women's teams, Turner explained. Yeah, it doesn't take an economist. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, a doctor, a lawyer, a sports, expert to know that they are not bringing in the same amount of money. It's just ridiculous. What was particularly frustrating to her is that while this was happening, people were pretending to care about protecting and supporting women's sports by banning transgender athletes, and Turner called out that hypocrisy. Okay, so it's hypocritical that you're not getting you don't need all the same things as a man. And this is what's crazy, is that you want to talk about hypocrisy. The women use a smaller ball than the men, but they constantly object to lowering the rim 6 inches or so, 8 inches, maybe even a foot. That's just blasphemous. But you're already using different equipment, so why is it that much different? This woman is just trying to get the headlines, and she's done it. She's got it. Nobody knew her name. I still don't even remember what her name is, but she's got the headlines. She's probably going to start a podcast or something, because if you want to say it's hypocritical that you're not getting all the same things as the men, you're not bringing in the same amount of money. It's not difficult to see. And then when people say they're protecting women's sports by not letting men, they are. Because I guarantee you, we're already basically at the bottom of the slippery slope. If you start letting men compete, you want, Dwayne Wade, right? His little boy is a little girl now. Do you honestly think that a man pretending to be a woman is not going to dominate in the WNBA? We see clips of it. People are making jokes of it. There was a clip a couple months ago of like a high schooler or something who just put a wig on, because that's all you have to do. You don't even have to do that, really. You could just say it. Of course, I can't identify as Steph Curry, and go play for the Golden State Warriors. Why is that different? I don't understand. I mean, I knew ever since I was little that I was going to be able to drain half-court shots with my eyes closed. It doesn't make any sense, but they keep forcing it on you. And this woman, to her own detriment, would rather play to the establishment and get points that way, rather than just being good at basketball and realizing that it's just a different sport. And that's okay. It's not entertaining. Nobody's going to watch it, but it is what it is. You can play it. You're going to make a decent living. It's better than working at Wendy's. These women are ridiculous, and some of them are just so ungrateful. You made it to the top, and you're still demanding a victim card. At the same time this was happening, dozens of states across the country, including Texas, were working to ban kids from playing sports with their friends. That's not what happened. That's literally not what happened. This is completely disingenuous. They were trying to ban kids from playing sports with their friends. Who is believing this? They're literally just trying to keep boys out of the girls' locker room. And you don't think that's a good idea. Apparently, that's hypocritical. Under the banner of protecting women's sports, I was floored. I actually think I laughed out loud. Keeping transgender women and girls out of sports is not protecting me or helping any women athletes. All right. I mean, might be more interesting, right? We already know that the men are going to bring in more money. They're going to dunk more. They're going to shoot better. So maybe if you start bringing in men, you might get a couple more eyeballs. So be careful what you wish for, lady. It's not helping the incredibly talented women in the NCAA tournament achieve food, lodging, sponsorship, and media coverage that's equal to men's. You're not going to get the same thing because you aren't the same, and that's okay. Right? I don't understand why this is so difficult for them to get through their thick skulls, that it's just not the same game. You have a very niche fan base. You have like a bunch of old guys who, in a non-creepy way, just like fundamental basketball, that's basically the only people who are watching it. I'm not one of those guys. I would much rather see Ja Morant dunk on somebody. And no matter how much you think you are equal to the men, you are not, and that's okay. And once you accept it, you might be able to get over that hump and stop crying about the hypocrisy that you just created. And that's why they won't even put your name in the titles, because nobody knows who you are. So you should thank Brittany Griner, and Brittany Griner should thank Russia for making her famous. But anyways, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.